Very good afternoon to all our invited and honorable guests, to start with Special Advisor to the President, Honorable Mai Party, ECOWAS Representative, General Gulao, National Security Advisor, Mahmoud Baji, General Kali, Senior SSR Advisor to the Office of National Security, International Advisory Group members, the drafters of the two strategies, participants, media fraternity, all protocol duly and respectfully observed. You are all welcome on this very warm summer day in Kanilia, Sindola, to mark the drafting of the SSR strategy and the NSS start film. This is yet another historic moment in the history of security sector reform in the Gambia. And it's historic because it's a cost of many projects that are meant to ensure continuity as well as that we are able to at least not only mark our security sector reform process, but succeed it. First and foremost, I would like to thank everyone in this hall for allotting time in their busy schedule, and especially the media fraternity for bearing with us since 8 o'clock to attend this very important function. So from the bottom of my heart, and from all those involved in organizing this occasion, we say thank you very much. Both the National Security Strategy and the Security Sector Reform Strategy build on significant achievements by the Office of National Security, supported by international partners, and ably guided by the International Advisory Group who are here present, to develop and implement an approach to security sector reform in a way that meets our broader national priorities and interests, and in particular aligned to our national development strategies. To begin with, and with much honor, I would like to call upon the National Security Advisor, Mr. Mahmoud Baji, to give us our welcoming remarks. Thank you.
Honorable Mai Ahmed Party, Special Advisor to the President, and our guest of honor today, the representative of the ECOWAS Permanent Mission, General Kelly Conte, Senior SSR Advisor, oblique National Security Advisor to Sierra Leone, members of the International Advisory Group, members of the drafting team for both the National Security Strategy and the Security Sector Reform Strategy, members of the media fraternity, including the press, of course, invited guests, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, all protocols respectfully observed. On behalf of the members or the staff of the Office of the National Security, I wish to warmly welcome you to this event dedicated to drafting of the Gambia's national security reform strategies. A draft or a retreat which seeks to stimulate rich discussions around the drafting of very crucial, key and important documents in our security sector reform. And we are highly honored and very privileged indeed to have Honorable Maifati, Special Advisor, to be present among our midst and furthermore accept to deliver the keynote of address. Honorable, we are grateful. Dear participants, I believe that we are all aware that a lot of planning and preparation have been put into development of these two documents. And this retreat is by way going to help us to intensify the work that is in progress. It is also envisaged that the retreat will provide a conducive environment and equally serve as a platform that will help us to critically examine our national security issues and help in collating views, opinions, and ideas in search for appropriate solutions, and also our national response to the challenges of Gambia's national security. Let me add also that the retreat will help us to achieve a consensus around the drafting of the document. If I may provide some background, we are all aware that the assessment report was duly endorsed by the government, and recently His Excellency President Adama Barrow officially launched the national security policy. Therefore, and it is very obvious that it is necessary for us to come up with these two strategic documents to be able to address the policy issues and also to find a solution to most of the malfunctions and the gaps that were noted in the assessment report. It has been said, and I want to share with you, that strategies are shaped by processes that produce them. That is one point. And two, if designed well, and I should say extremely well for that matter, a strategy formulation process enables decision makers to be able to evaluate political security, the budgetary environment, identify choices and options, and also make trade-off in terms of options available with capabilities and limitations, all to ensure that we have the strategy, or we have a strategy that will stand the test of time and also be able to give us and be able to help us to address the national security issues. In most circumstances, a good formulation process produces a good strategy. So to sum up, this is a food for thought for you, the drafters, meaning that the focus, the attention, the concentration and dedication and commitment for that matter which you give to the drafting here will eventually impact on the type of strategy document that will be produced at the end of the exercise. However, looking at you and the nature of the interdisciplinary nature of the team we have here, some coming from the security and others with other backgrounds from our departments and ministries, has given us a hope, big one for that matter, that at the end of the day, you will do justice and ensure that the retreat is not only successful, but it will lead to the production and development of a strategic document that will help to address and also help us in giving to the Gambian people the response needs in terms of security. Permit me therefore to state that today we are hopeful that you will spend more time in doing your work, and also you will be able to ensure that the two documents are available maybe at the point of zero draft, so that when you go back to the Congos or back to our respective destinations for drafting, you will have less work to do. I also want to remind you, like the process that we allow the national security policy to go through. We are going to allow these two documents to take similar approaches. There will be a national consultation and validation, after which it will finally be edited before the launching. So as part of the drafters, I enjoin you to work as a team, uphold the spirit of cooperation and collaboration. You are indeed encouraged to be forthright in expressing your views and ideas, as everybody's opinion is vital and important in this endeavor. I want to remind you all that at the heart of the national security strategy and the security sector reform strategy lies the challenge of enhancing the security sector. Thus, we have high expectation on you as drafters. Finally, I would like to wish you a successful drafting period here and many interesting and fruitful discussions. Once again, I welcome you and indeed thank you for taking part in this noble retreat. May God bless all of us, and thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you very much, NSA. To recap on what NSA has just said, he began by walking us through the development of the two very important documents, that is the NSS and the Ssrs. He noted that the retreat is meant to intensify work that is already begun and to provide conducive environment and a platform to critically collate views and ideas in search of appropriate responses to our national security aspirations in order to achieve consensus around its end. He left us with a number of schools of thought. First of all, the strategies are shaped by processes that produce them. And that if designed well, strategies enable decision makers to evaluate and identify choices and options and provide trade-offs to ensure that we have strategies that stand the test of time. Furthermore, he noted that a good formulation process produces a good strategy. He espouses his hope that by the end of the retreat, zero drafts will be produced and delivered for further validation and the rest of the other processes. He enjoined all drafters to work as a team, that everyone's opinion is vital and important in this process. He ended by wishing success to the drafting team. Next, we have the speech by the special representative of the ECOWAS president, General Gulao, who is going to speak on behalf of the sponsor of this very auspicious gathering.
As aptly captured by our moderator, I am standing in for the special resident representative of the president of ECOWAS. I will read the speech. I feel highly delighted and honored to be with you today for the official opening ceremony of a 5-day retreat to lay a solid foundation on the process of crafting the national security strategy and then the security sector reform strategy respectively. From the very onset of undertaking SSR process in the Gambia, the government and the development partners were mindful that it must not only focus on the technical process, but must also be complemented by a thorough understanding of the political dynamics and relevant stakeholders' participation. Thus, it is gratifying and heartening to know that the 20 drafters responsible for developing these two important strategies are drawn from across the security sectors, departments, and relevant ministries accordingly. The formulation of the two strategies is timely as Gambia moves into a new phase of economic growth and societal development following 22 years of authoritarian and repressive rule in the Gambia. This process paves the way and chance to advance fresh strategies and ideas that will distinguish the Gambia globally throughout its ability to rebuild the security institutions and maximum effect for assurance of peace, security, and stability in the country. The security sector reform strategy sets out a comprehensive roadmap for the transformation of the security sector, describing how the Gambia plans to implement the key findings and recommendations of the comprehensive national SSR strategy, SSR assessment report, to ensure that the security sector becomes more performance-oriented, more accountable, and more responsive, while at the same time retaining and enhancing its diversity in terms of vision and mission. Indeed, the comprehensive national SSR assessment report that was submitted to the government in December 2017 sought to evaluate the current security context, challenges, gaps, malfunctions that exist within the security institutions. It aimed at making key recommendations for the changes required to be effected expeditiously to make the security sector more efficient and effective. Among other things, the SSR assessment report noted that the system could be made more responsive in developing our security personnel through building their capacities, designing programs and disciplines, as well as aligning priorities to meet the contemporary security and justice needs of the citizen, while operating within the framework of good governance, respect for the rule of law, and human rights and international humanitarian laws accordingly. The national security strategy, on the other hand, derives the national security policy and seeks to craft parameters for implementation of this national overarching document. The main goal of national security strategy, therefore, is to provide a strategy for the government and civil society to shape the Gambia's national security priorities for ensuing years and establish a robust national security sector that is well equipped, disciplined, professional, and respects human rights principles. Thus, a strong and more cohesive focus on crafting and updating legal and regulatory mechanisms will be used as a reference and guiding tool for strengthening focus on management and oversight functions across the security sector. At this juncture, Honorable my party, the special advisors, and distinguished participants, I must state that the implementation of this ambitious security sector reform agenda has been given a lifeline and substance through our collaborative work in partnership with other international organizations such as the United Nations, the EU, and AU, amongst others, and principally the government of the Gambia. You may recall that ECOWAS has been a very active partner from onset of SSR process. The sponsorship of this important retreat to develop the two key strategic documents clearly sets out how it will continue to contribute to the full implementation of SSR process in the Gambia. As could be noted, these impressive new strategies will forge a way to fully implement SSR in the Gambia. It will also build on the significant achievements attained thus far. A big ECOWAS, as well as other international development partners, are glad to be part of. Both strategies, therefore, shall be designed to allow the Gambia to continue to develop its security sector in a way that meets broader national priorities, particularly the National Development Plan Strategy of 2017 spanning up to 2022. We fully appreciate the challenging and difficult environment the security sector had to operate in for the past 22 years. The reality of authoritarian resulting to constraint in all areas of public service, but this was exacerbated in the security sector. I therefore appreciate the vital role that the actors of this sector have continued to play in ensuring the Gambia's future economy and society and social development. Above all, it is critical that a robust funding mechanism is put in place to support the security sector in delivering this role. For this reason, the ECOWAS is examining future funding arrangements for SSR sustainability in the Gambia. The objective of this is to identify a range of approaches that will achieve a sustainable funding base to address the continual expansion of the sector while protecting the quality of transformation. On this note, I commend all the Commission drafters and members of IAG mentoring the process for the successful development of these two very important strategies. I am fully aware of your distinctive selection and efforts. Excellence shall be achieved at the end of this retreat. With your strong commitment and dedication combined, a significant force for change both within and outside into wider society shall be garnered. These two strategies that are going to be formulated for your collective future and working together as a team, you will succeed. The ECOWAS pledge to remain committed to the SSR process in the Gambia to the end. On this final note, I wish to thank you for the opportunity availed the ECOWAS to sponsor this very important retreat. Thank you all and good luck.
Thank you very much for your speech, representative of the ECOWAS President to the Gambia. And in his speech, he outlined a number of important points. First of all, he noted that previous works in the form of the development of the national security policy and the security sector assessment report lays the solid foundation for the development of these two vital documents that you are about to draft. He noted that they will have been very wary, the international parties that is, to not only focus on the technical process of implementing the SSR program, but complementing a true and understanding of the political and social dynamics of the population. And this has been the guiding force of their intervention and work. He noted that the formulation of these strategies are timely, following 22 years of authoritarian rule. That the two documents are important for assurance of peace, security, and stability in the country. He also noted that the strategies will enable SSR actors to become more performance-oriented and dynamic in the advancement of their work. He buttressed the appreciation of the vital role of security sector actors who continue to play their role in SSR work. He explained how ECOWAS will continue to support and fully implement SSR in the Gambia by identifying a range of approaches to continue to ensure continuity of the Gambia's reform agenda. On this note, I would like to call on our guest speaker, Special Advisor to the President, to give the final statement before we start.
Special Representative of the ECOWAS representative to the Gambia, National Security Advisor of the Republic of the Gambia, National Security Advisor of the Republic of Sierra Leone, my good friend General Kelly, members of the International Advisory Group present here, drafters of the two strategies present, the media, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. First, I'd like to apologize for coming late. This was because I had a prior scheduled event at the Caravan Hotel, the first national conference on tourism, the very first since independence. There were some very serious policy issues that were at stake, and it took a greater part of our morning and as a result I couldn't be here on time as desirable. But nonetheless, I am very honored to be here. First, on behalf of His Excellency the President, Adam Barrow, the government of the Gambia, to launch yet another milestone in the trajectory of events in the security landscape of our country. I am particularly grateful that my visit here, though it's going to be very short, provides me, on behalf of His Excellency and Commander-in-Chief of the Gambian Armed Forces, President Adam Barrow, a timely opportunity to reaffirm and strengthen government's strong commitment to the SSR process and to share some ideas with you. We're here this afternoon to kickstart this retreat for the drafting process of two vital strategic documents: the Security Sector Reform Strategy and the National Security Strategy. And this ceremony, coming exactly a week after the memorable launching of the country's first ever national security policy by His Excellency the President on the 10th of June, this past Monday, at the Carabao Beach Hotel. It could be recalled that early 2017, a technical working group was duly commissioned to conduct a comprehensive security sector reform assessment to ascertain the gaps and malfunctions of the security sector that our government inherited. The assessment was completed in December 2017, and the report came up with the recommendations that would enable the sector to be transformed to meet the needs of the new state and the people's aspirations. At this stage, I'd like to thank many, but in particular, General Kelly, who in the early stages marshaled all the impossible forces to get this done across the country and to get the views of all country members reflected in this assessment report. The report highlighted an overview of the general findings related to deficits and malfunctions of the security sector that needs redress. It further revealed the need for a national security policy and a civilian-controlled security sector founded on democratic principles and institutions, respect for human rights and the rule of law. While the SSR assessment report shall be the basis for our security sector reform strategy, the National Security Policy launched last week shall serve as the main reference document for the National Security Strategy. This is yet another demonstration of the government's high commitment and priority to transformation and development of the security sector of the Gambia. It also demonstrates the relentless fervor, readiness, and ability of the staff of the Office of the National Security, supported by a highly seasoned, experienced, and skilled international advisory group drawn from various international organizations, countries around the world. There is absolutely no doubt on the part of the government of the Gambia that the team assembled to carry out this extremely important task will deliver to the Gambia and her people the right strategic documents that are so critically needed to shape and direct the security sector reform. There can be no greater obligation for a government than the protection and safety of its citizens. The threats of security and public safety are not just the problems other nations face. we too are touched by and face similar challenges here in the Gambia. I therefore challenge you all to produce robust and comprehensive strategies to guide the government and all national security partners and stakeholders in implementation of our new national security policy. Our forthcoming national security strategy should be a framework for describing how we shall provide security for our government, country and citizens, and is often presented as an integrated document to ensure that the government addresses most threats in a comprehensive manner to increase the effectiveness of the security sector by optimizing contributions from all relevant actors. It serves as a guide for a holistic approach to managing national security. There are several advantages to having a national security strategy, as well as a security sector reform strategy. And these include guiding the implementation of the policy, building domestic consensus, and enhancing regional and international confidence and cooperation. In this sense, the formulation of the national security strategy and the security sector reform strategies as primary framework documents for the government and security services is proof that the government is persistently committed in ensuring that national security is assured and maintained. Consequently, the support and cooperation of the people is critical in guaranteeing the continuity and viability of the Gambia as an independent, safe and sovereign nation based on the principles of democracy, good governance and the rule of law. As we live in an increasingly more interconnected, complex and often dangerous world, national security has therefore become a complex and multifaceted affair. National security has therefore become a complex and multifaceted affair. Accordingly, the politics of national security of any nation, including the Gambia, can be characterized as the integration of its military, foreign, and domestic policies with the aim of coordinating its political, economic, psychosocial, and military potentials to guarantee against actual or potential external or internal adversaries, as well as the achievement and preservation of its core values and essential natural objectives. In the same vein, the new security paradigm shift that highlights the human-centric focus as well as the nexus between security and development has given rise to a whole new myriad of security challenges. This has necessitated a holistic approach to national security based on systems thinking which allows individual agencies and departments to take a much broader perspective than normal. Such challenges include issues of human rights, economics, the environment, drug trafficking, epidemics, crime, or social injustice, in addition to the traditional concern with security from external military threats. In conclusion, it is hoped that the new security architecture that the government of the Gambia is building shall contribute to the fostering of national unity, reconciliation and integration by developing a security sector which is fully representative of Gambians and promotes the welfare and protection of all persons in the Gambia. We shall develop a security architecture that ensures full civilian oversight and democratic control of the security sector in line with international standards of human rights and the rule of law. A security sector that has high respect for human rights and mainstreaming gender issues in all aspects, including the recruitment, the retention, full participation in decision-making and training curriculum of all security institutions. Ladies and gentlemen, we are living in a very challenging time. When you look at our region, in developing the strategies, as has been stated by previous speakers, your approach is going to be holistic, but shall also be relevant and practical to our subjective realities of the Gambia. In the context, in the regional context. For the Gambia, our borders are open to two countries and facing the Atlantic Ocean. But the very nature of our borders in the region, in the ECOWAS region, remains porous, remain insecure, and the massive movement of persons from one country to another makes it highly possible for unwanted elements to cross from one country to another and wreak havoc in those countries. As a result, national security has become an international affair, a matter that requires regional coordination and consultation among all countries in order to ensure that effective coordination, monitoring and evaluation of security threats and trends of the 21st century. As a result of this, the Gambia and our tourism, which is critically essential to our economy, and the success of the National Development Plan, plus this momentous success of our preventive diplomacy, makes the Gambia a very attractive country for the region. The threats that have been manifested in Burkina Faso, in Cote d'Ivoire, in Mali recently, and other countries within the region, means we cannot rest on our laurels. But we have to continue to monitor, use effective intelligence, teamwork among all security institutions, information sharing, and your strategies that we are going to develop will be instrumental in ensuring that this can successfully happen. So as you contextualize, it is important that you build the synergy and strong teamwork among yourselves so that you can succeed. And I want you to have only one goal and objective here, and that is you will succeed. Because you have been carefully selected with great confidence and the sovereign trust of this nation to deliver on two critical strategies that will stand the test of time in not only consolidating but also maintaining our national sovereignty and territorial integrity. So you have a historical burden on your shoulders that we must deliver and deliver the best for this country. You have been provided with facilities, amenities and incentives to make this possible for you. And with great guidance from the team, International Advisory Group, the ECOWAS, the indomitable National Security Advisor, supported by our brother, General Kelly, we have no doubt that as you leave the shores of Sindola in Kanilia, the nation will be celebrating with you your remarkable success in enabling our country to bequeath a document that will serve posterity. On behalf of His Excellency the President and the entire government of the Gambia, I want to thank you for your commitment and for your readiness to work for your country across all services, to assure you of our support and solidarity in strengthening the Office of National Security and in ensuring the success of your mandate here in Kanilia. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, National Security Advisor, I want to congratulate you and your team and to thank ECOWAS for underwriting this very historic event, the first of its kind in our country. I thank you all and may God bless the Republic of the Gambia.
Guest speaker. From his speech, we are able to gather the following points. First of all, he maintains that this retreat is a timely opportunity to reaffirm government's commitment and priority in the transformation and reorientation of the security sector in the Gambia. He gave a throwback of 2017 and the assessment process that was begun at the time, He thanks General Kelly, who marshaled all the forces to obtain the report, that is the SSR assessment report, which serve as a roadmap for our security sector reform agenda today. He noted that there is no greater obligation for a government than the security of its people. He challenged you, the drafters, to produce a robust and comprehensive strategic document to implement policies that are already drafted. He noted the importance of the two documents, underlining that one, it will guide implementation of the previous document, that is the NSP and the assessment report of the SSR. It will build domestic consensus, and also it will enhance international confidence in the process. He said that documents shall guide and guarantee that the Gambia asserts its sovereignty and mark its realm in the world peace and security. He noted that national security is now expanded from the traditional view to new and broader concepts, including human rights and intricately linked to development. He expanded on national security becoming an international affair, citing border management within our porous borders, and the ECOWAS borders. He noted that the new strategies that are going to be developed shall take this into credence and reflect on the new realities of our times. He affirms confidence in the team of drafters and urged them to deliver and deliver with success. That this is a document that it shall be put to the government that renders success for the SSR process.
And so these together combined with the strategy will be a holistic approach. The Gambia's national security apparatus document will be complete with these two documentations. One, the security sector reform strategy will draw its elements from the report, recommendations of the National Security Sector Assessment Report, which was conducted for the greater part of 2017. But out of that, then we will be able to craft a security sector reform strategy. Because the security sector assessment report is a compendium of the general aspirations of the whole nation. The consultation was conducted in early November and early 2017 across the country. So it is a national consultation which resulted in a national recommendation on the manner in which, not only that, but also the content of a security sector reform strategy. So here we are going to create one, and we have selected carefully a number of people who are going to be drafting that document. Now, the national security strategy, on the other hand, will drive its inspiration from the national security policy, which was just recently advanced. And so it is, a policy is just a framework, it's a guideline, but a strategy is the document that is going to practicalize, operationalize the policy. And this is why it is very important that these retreats, will consider these two vital national security documents, so that we will be able to unleash all of the potentials that have been locked. We'll be able to unlock them all with regards to the security. It will be a paradigm. This is why it's very essential.
So why is the need
the retreat? It is necessary to get the drafters in one place, so that there will be this intensity and concentration of ideas in an environment that is not distracted. In other words, that will not distract them. And they can focus on the critical elements that are necessary to produce so vital national documents for our future target with regards to national security. And that's why it is important that we secure them, we take them here, so they'll be able to have access to the right conditions, the right circumstances, the right frame of mind, and that camaraderie which is necessary, teamwork, essential, in this kind of processes. So being here will give them all those advantages. They are away from everybody. This is pretty much their show, their environment, their area. And they'll be able to focus fully to produce a document that will stand the test of posterity.
That has the draft aspect of the security report. So, what advice are you going to present about the calendar?
Well, they have to be focused, and they have to be committed, and they have to continue the teamwork, spirit of teamwork there. have existed among them. They have been trained. There are a series of training for these people in the past, and they have been carefully selected after all series of trainings, and they are adequately equipped to deal with the situation now. All they need is to focus and apply themselves, and I'm sure they're going to do a good job. There's no doubt about that. Of course, they have already guidelines. The National Security Assessment Report is there to guide them. The National Security Policy is also there to guide them. So they have two fundamental documents that they can use together with best international practice to give the Gambia the best. That is what we expect from them. And that is what we expect them to deliver in this process. You're welcome.
Address both the national security policy and the security sector reform. So basically, let Gambians be part of us, support the process. Let Gambians give us their support, and let them also understand that there are some sensitivities, but then there is no reluctance. Inshallah.
You are heading the entire reforms process. What can you paint us a picture of what the reforms security service means to us?
I think I will come back to that. The reforms security strategy or the reform security sector simply means a security sector that will be able to deliver very professionally, very effectively, very efficiently, and also be able to respect human rights and also the rule of law. The same sector should be able to understand and be able to accept to work under the supervision of civilian authority. Basically, this is what you will find in a very reformed security sector, and this is where we are heading to.
Mr. Wali, in short, do you think the security sector reform will be successful by looking at the fact that many of the senior officers, their names have been adversely mentioned as the TRRC? What do you make of this?
Actually, in most circumstances, we try to avoid involving in a process that is not yet concluded. I think you and I are all aware that the TRRC is a process. The TRRC has got its own terms and terms of references. The TRRC also have been, the membership have been appointed and given a mandate. They have a function. So in this situation, it is difficult, but I don't think I want to preempt the conclusion of the TRRC. But I think most of the duties of trying to ensure that there is justice and fair play goes to the Ministry of It's a domain for the Ministry of Justice, and of recent, I think we have seen it coming out with several press conferences, gradually trying to address that situation. Thank you very much.